these are the clearest paths into the technology industry. And I get hysterical liberals who say people don't have access to the internet, people don't have access to Chromebooks, and people don't have the free time or the motivation to improve their lot in life. And it's like, who are you talking about? Because 90% of the country has access to the internet and uses it already. And if you go and do a search for a Chromebook on eBay, a used one, you can find one for $50 to $150. So we have this narrative that people cannot rise up and people cannot improve themselves. And every time I say, I believe people can improve themselves, people say that I'm like a racist, that I believe that people could improve themselves. And it just makes me further away from the Democratic Party. It makes me further away from the left. That
I think this, I'm going to put out a crazy idea, which is that I think if Donald Trump wins in a meaningful way in November, I don't think he will, but if he does, the actual silver lining for everybody is I think the Republican Party will disintegrate and the Democratic Party will disintegrate. And in its place, I think you'll probably have 3 or 4 parties. And I think that would be amazing.
So it's the burn it all down vote, which was Peter Thiel's idea from the beginning. It was like, I think Sacks and Thiel, when they coordinated this Trump election, it was all burn it down, right, Sacks? That was your Star Chamber discussion with Thiel? Was you guys wanted to burn it all down?
I think I think what you're doing is contamination by association there.
Yeah, just because you went to college with Peter Thiel. Right. When's the last time you talked to Peter Thiel?
No, Peter's a friend of mine, but again, and I agree with him about some things, and I disagree with him about other things. But this idea,
you disagree.
But this idea that we can't hang out with people, you know, or that hanging out with people means that we must endorse every view they have. Like, why is it even relevant that
exactly.
I'm friends with Peter?
Like for example, we're friends in our group chat with a couple guys who are very far right. We're not going to name who they are. But I would say that I think that the group chat is better off for them being able to say what they believe and push back. And just like there's a bunch of us who are in the middle and we waffle back and forth between the left and the right. And then there are folks that are more on the far right, or far left, or on the left. So I just think that we forget that there is enormous value in the diversity of thought. And people think that there is some sort of safety in conformity. And in fact, I will tell you, that's actually the exact opposite. You're more likely to be in conflict with someone that you are very similar to, because eventually you will always end up competing for the exact same resource, and that resource becomes scarce. If you are actually spending time with people that are divergent and different from you, you actually end up not competing for the same resources because you're built differently. So there's just less conflict. So this is why multi-party systems work. This is why you have less fighting when there's, in Canada and Europe than you do in the United States, because the United States tries to reduce things down to 2 choices. And so we all of a sudden just glom into these pools that are seemingly similar, and we end up hating each other.
Friedberg, any final thoughts on cancel culture?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be bad.
I totally agree with Chamath that if Trump wins the election, this will be the reason. The same thing happened when the Republicans overplayed their hand with Bill Clinton.
Right.
And it was said at that time that, Clinton was always very fortunate in who his enemies were. Because no matter, what he did wrong or how badly he screwed up, his enemies always made too big a deal of it, or they overreacted, and it played into his hands. And I have to wonder if that's what's happening right now with this whole cancel culture.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. We've gone over an hour. If you're listening to the All In podcast and you'd like to advertise, it's not possible. There's no ads on this podcast. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, that's also not possible. There's no guests. So send your advertising and guest requests to Chamath at spac.org. Breaking news right now. There is a TechCrunch story that just broke while we're on air. Can't stop, won't stop. Social Capital just filed for its 4th SPAC. If you're into SPACs,
no, that's not the article. The article.
Oh no, the article is Chamath launches SPAC.
No,
SPAC
that's not
and
the
SPAC
article.
as he SPACs the world with SPACs.
Yeah, we just announced 3. Yeah.
Oh, you just announced number 3.
Yeah. No, 3. D, E, and F.
Oh, D, E, and F got approved.
No, yeah, they're filed with the SEC now.
And when would D, E, and F be available for people to buy shares in it then? Is that like a 60-day, 100-day?
15 days.
Oh, okay, great. All right, well, there you have it. And then you confirmed that the second SPAC was Open Door, right? Is that confirmed? Or is that
That was announced on Tuesday. Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you,
and
sir.
then how do you feel about all these people stealing your thunder with SPACs?
I think it's
Is that annoying,
I think it's great.
or is it inspiring?
It's great. I think it's growing the market. It's good for entrepreneurs.
It's amazing. I mean, what this is going to mean that companies with 50 to 150 million will be able to go public on a clear path?
I hope so. I've said this before. We've gone from 8,000 public companies to 4,000 in 20 years. So let's reverse the tide.
It should be double the number of companies, right? I mean, we should have gone down. We should have gone up. You would think we've gone
Well,
up.
in a world with 0% interest rates, it has to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Please, for the love of God, somebody convince Calm, Robinhood, Thumbtack, and Data Stacks to go public because I've got kids to put through school. All right, everybody. For Bestie C, the Rain Man himself, David Sacks, and the Queen of Quinoa, Friedbergers. This is the All In Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Love you, besties.
Love you, besties.